The domains of 2.7's Archon Interlude chapter are awesome. Teleport barriers are scarce, giving one free reign to go just about anywhere. While I'm mostly going to show out of bounds in the domain with the fantastic compass, I think it's worthwhile to give the other two a brief look. So we'll go over each in the order they appear throughout the story. The first one, not really much to say. This is the only one I encountered bothersome teleport barriers in. They surround the intended play area of the domain, but almost seem haphazardly placed. There were times I got caught by them, but when I went back to the exact same spot to try again, I would get passed by slightly adjusting the elevation I was gliding at. There's a whole lot of nothing out of bounds in this place. Something I always try to do when out of bounds is reach the highest point of the map. Got very close. This floating chunk of rock is the highest point, and it might be reachable with a C1 xiao, but it's hard to say for certain. Oh, and there's another instance of terrain collision unloading out here, just like in the Vibro Crystal research domain. The second domain, the Kaleidoscope Cage, is where things get interesting. The puzzle here is maybe the coolest one the game has come up with until now. Given there's a lot of falling in this domain, it's very tall. Shocking, eh? Let's talk about that door. You know, the one that has different stuff appear behind it? By default, what's behind that door is the platform the traveler will eventually fall through. You can actually get to it real easy by just climbing up the side here, jumping over, and dropping down through this conveniently placed hole. As for the other rooms that appear behind the door, it's probably a simple load-unload thing. Although I'm curious, because there's always the possibility those rooms are located somewhere on this map, and they are just moved during the cutscene. Should that turn out to be true, would be real neat if someone found them. Also, they copied and pasted this cavern room with the door to give the illusion of returning to the same place. When the traveler falls through the platform, they're placed in a copy of the cavern with the door. Because the room's a copy, the same hole is present near the door, which leads out onto the lowest part of the domain that's nothing but a pool of water. Alrighty, onto the main event. The Fantastic Compass domain. First and foremost, the giant fantastic compass itself. I've been out of bounds in just about every domain in this game, and I like exploring them. But when I saw this beautiful flying masterpiece, I knew I had to get to it, and so I did, all the way to the top of the Fantastic Compass. Pretty darn cool. But I gotta be honest, as much as that flying compass called out to me, it's not the coolest thing in this domain. The stone floor of the domain, surprisingly, isn't a teleport barrier, and that allows for quickly moving about the place. And while moving about, the skybox will go crazy and change. Look at how quickly it does. I suppose that's no surprise. They'd want to make sure the skybox finished swapping before those portal teleport animations finish. Although it's notable that, even though the skybox changes while wandering about, the Fantastic Compass remains stationary. It obviously moves when playing through the domain normally, so that move must be tied to the teleport animations. Honestly, this place has it all. Cool foggy effects on the ground, giant pitfalls that'll take minutes to climb out of, 5 spectacular skybox changes, all incredibly different. Seriously, check this place out. It's also very easy to get out of bounds. Just head over to that mine area that was locked behind the gate, and climb through the debris until you get out of bounds. It might be a bit tricky, but there's a route in there that'll take you up and behind the barrier. Now then, what's the coolest thing in this place? Easily the 2-dimensional spheres floating behind it. I'm certain you've noticed them throughout the video. The darker one contains that narrow space traversed when going through the portals. It looks like a mini planet from up here. Meanwhile, the lighter one appears to have nothing in it. But by gliding through, it becomes apparent this is the starry cloud platform encountered at the very end of the domain. Landing here will activate a door of resurrection, so it's best to explore here last, else you'll have to exit the domain to get back to the other areas. So yeah, check these places out, especially that Fantastic Compass out of bounds. It's well worth a bit of time to see all the cool effects and terrain in there. This is Musashi, signing off. Till next time.